Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk through to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us, call them hate speech. But fear not, Maiyegun don't come. Ingo touchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we laugh, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun diary politico, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. This one not the off in mind, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. And in the touchlight every corner, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Nah. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Sure. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. See them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun diary politico, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. This one not they off in mind, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Maiyegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Maiyegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day, then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say, make we no talk. But thank God say, Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make you shout, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo.
Hello there. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, or good night, or wherever time you're watching me from, and wherever you're watching from. This is Maiyegun live, and today, for those of you who are joining me on Facebook, those of you who are already on YouTube, thank you so much for your time. We're going to spend another hour with our known figure, Comrade Omoyele Sowore. I call him Mr. President, and today we want to have his view on the diary, where we can say, well, this is Omoyele Sowore's position on what is going on. He's always made his position known. The current campaign that he is championing, and with other, patriotic fellows, is Buhari must go. He's been part of many, but today I want to discuss with him is it all right to say revolution before breakup? We've had people who have been saying, "Oh, let us have a restructured or renegotiated Nigeria where we can have what is called the referendum, that people can then decide if they want to leave or not." First, people should decide if they want to be part of Nigeria or not. This conversation is raging in Yoruba land today. The Yoruba, elders, political leaders, as they call themselves, they are somehow at par and in bed with what is going on in Nigeria. But we also have the other Yoruba leaders, so we're also coming up now saying Yoruba will defend ourselves. The young Yorubas are demanding for the breakaway from Nigeria. There's been a lot of, ups and downs. I want to have our Mr. President, Omoyele Sowore. Don't forget, it seems that you can prove me wrong if you have any other facts. The only Nigerian who got involved in politics and was able to rally the support of almost everyone from every part of Nigeria, all over the world. But the system, as you expect, as we knew, was rigged enough to prove those who believe that Nigeria will never work, prove them right. That Sowore, you did a lot. But we can't take something away from him. He has the charisma, he has the capacity, he has the intellect, he even has the personality to get everyone, wherever you come from, whether you are a Yoruba or Hausa or Igbo or Fulani or wherever you come from, you will realize that every person who has contributed or promoted or supported or backed the idea of Omoyele Sowore when he said, let us take it back. Yeah, many will say we have passed that stage today. We no longer want to take it back. We no longer want to, you know what I mean? But yes, there will always be, before you make omelette, you have to break the egg. So will there be a revolution before the breakup of Nigeria? Or is it going to be an outright war? I want to hear from Sowore, our own guest this afternoon. He is here with me, and I'm going to bring him on. Mr. President, sir.
Yes, Maiyegun, thank you so much for bringing me back on your show. There's been a lot of things happening. And but if you check on the last conversation we had, we know that somehow we've been ahead of some of these issues. I told you the last time we spoke that the APC would try to bring Jonathan to run on a platform, and you saw how it played out. And that all of the attacks during that time on our person was because they were really afraid that the only people that could expose that was us. But let me also update you today that Jonathan has also been dropped. Like I told you before, that they were inviting him there was a village that was hungry in the Yoruba folklore, and they ran out of meat, and they wanted to get the elephants. They wanted to eat the elephant, but they didn't have hunters that could kill the elephant. So they invited the elephant to come and become their king, and they dug a big hole, put a mat over it, put a seat over it, and when the elephant came and sat on it, it crashed into that dish, and they were able to eat the elephant. That was what they did to Jonathan. They wanted to demystify him, for whomever might be believing still in him that he's a lightweight. They cajoled him, pushed him around, and after a while, now they've decided that he's of no use to them. That is the update I have for you regarding that. But
it's like the end of Solomon Grundy. So what's next? Course. What's the next card?
The next card is that politically they are thinking about retaining power in the north. As I mentioned to you before, so they are done with Bola Tinubu. They're done with him. They blocked his means of making money, free money. The state is no longer giving him free money, and toll gates, which used to be his ways of getting money, is under a lot of attacks. So he can't get money from there. But they still want to collect whatever is left of him before they also dump him in the dish. As for Oshibajo, he's also been on the cards, but they're also done with him because they were able to pin a lot of dirty things on him for a while. And they practically reduced him to a vice president who practically only now does PowerPoint presentations about things that are irrelevant. So
motivational speaker.
Well, I don't even think it's up to that level, at the way it is now. But yes. So, but these guys honestly feel that there's no reason for them to appeal to any part of the country anymore with regards to power shifts, that they can retain power. So they pulled up the Attorney General, who is now a presidential candidate. He used to be a governorship candidate for, I think, Yobe. Is it Kebbi? Sorry, Kebbi.
Kebbi, yeah, he's from Kebbi.
He's upgraded to presidency, and they're pushing Amosu from your state as his vice presidential candidate. That's where we are today. That doesn't mean that these things will not change. Buni, who is the current chairman of, I think, the APC, the interim chairman of APC, is also considering. Recently got married to Abacha's daughter. That one who been married for 20 years and had all the kids. But he did it for political reasons. They had got married in Abuja 2 weeks ago. So these are some of the candidates. On the PDP side, they are looking at pairing Wike as vice president to the president, the current governor of Sokoto State. I don't remember that. Yeah, I don't care about them. So Tamboa. So, but But these are some of the. But PDP is dead. APC is also on the on the way to implosion. But PDP is practically dead, and almost everybody in PDP that matters has joined APC. The ones that have not joined APC are working indirectly for APC. But their own goal is to create a one-party state, so that when Buhari leaves, as they have boasted recently, that they will be in power for another 32 years. But those permutations and calculations don't have anything to do with the election, because they know they can't win free and fair elections. So that's the reason why they brought back the current chairman of INEC, who will, of course, take care of
to extend again.
Yes. From what
Same
we
with
heard,
the police IG too,
Yes. The police IG is supposed to spend 3 months, but I doubt that they will push him away anytime soon, except there's massive pressure on them, because they don't want a southerner to become police IG. They were even forced to do some changes with regards to the service chiefs that make this look as if
something is going on.
But the real powers are still where they need to be. But that's where these people are as far as today is concerned. But all of these calculations and miscalculations don't take into consideration the fact that the majority of our people are tired and sick of the political system. But people like Tinubu can't see it. He's blinded by his ambition. And, as you could tell from what happened to him, yes, he's also sick. He tumbled over yesterday at an event. Some people said he stepped on his agbada, but it's the same thing that he said to us in 2015, that Buhari stepped on his wrapper. And
let me show you that video. Yeah, let me show you that video so we can find out if he tripped on his agbada or maybe it's more. Watch it.
Managing Director, Foundation.
Let's check that again.
Engineer Abubakar Umar, Managing Director.
I would say it was his agbada, but you are right. The way he actually staggered there, it wasn't walking fast. So there's no way you trip on your agbada and nearly
You ask yourself, is it the only one wearing agbada at that place and walking at the same time? A lot of people were walking with agbada, walking in a file. So except you are saying that his agbada was wrapped around his legs, what kind of agbada was he wearing that was different from the guy in front of him and the guy behind him? The truth is that the man is unwell and he needs to go take care of himself, but he's blinded by ambition. And his own calculation is simple. Look, Buhari did it this way, and Nigerians are a confused lot. You give them their retirement benefit, which is a pot of rice, a derica of rice, and the normal 2,000 naira, 5,000 maximum. They'll vote for any dead person, And like I usually say, this is not the first time a half-dead person will rule Nigeria. There was a time a dead man ruled Nigeria, Yaradua, for 5 months. He was dead and nobody was in charge. And they had a way of managing it, this very wicked and criminal elite. And deceived everybody that Yaradua in charge of the country. Same thing with Buhari. Buhari is like mentally manic.
Now, we have gotten to a stage whereby we can say probably there's nobody in charge of Nigeria. The insecurity has gone worse. But out of all of this, right, the Nigerian military, they still have time. They have the resources to clamp down on the citizens asking that all these killings should stop. That's one. The second part is people are no longer, somehow people are feeling like protesting or calling them out every now and then. This peaceful protest and all of that is becoming outdated because it's like just more or less like fetching the water with a basket in a way. Yeah. So we are dealing with people who are not probably feeling anything anymore. It's more or less like a done deal. Nigerians are just going to continue to have to deal with half-dead people. But you strongly believe that you can mobilize the people to change the status quo. Do you still really believe that? Some people are actually getting tired of that. Like, it's not working.
Well, look,
yeah.
The fact that an idea, is not immediately yielding result doesn't mean that it won't work or it has not worked. You understand? And that's the problem we have sometimes. There's none of the ideas that has been propounded in the last maybe 5 years in terms of a different direction for Nigeria that has worked. People who wanted to break Nigeria haven't been able to break Nigeria. With due respect to our Biafran brothers and now our Oduduwa activists, they haven't. The thing is that we have not come to the realization that the moment you localize the problem, it makes it easy for the central oppressive system to target you and pin you to a corner. You understand? The Biafrans set up ESN. They send soldiers there to go and kill all of them. They're killing them as we speak. It's like you provide more targets for them because they have an excuse to carry out these very deadly attacks. You say you are doing Oduduwa. Yes, they haven't come after the Odua activists now, but they will. It's just a matter of time. If they don't come out directly, they will come out in the way they did before. I have told you before, those who are watching, I was part of OPC, and OPC was better organized than what we have now. We were organizing in Mushin. We have 5,000 people on a Tuesday in front of Gani Adams's carpentry shop. In Mushin. Dr. Fasheun's hospital was not far from there. But at the end of the day, what happened? They penetrated and infiltrated the OPC, killed directly, the state killed directly, and then turned the OPC leadership against itself. At the end of the day, more people were killed, more Yoruba people were killed in the internecine war between the OPC warlords than we achieved in terms. I left Nigeria in that disillusionment. So what I'm saying is that instead of providing targets for these people, why don't we come together as one central cheated, oppressed people and fight these people in a matter of weeks is over? Because we're actually fighting a weak system. But we make them look strong by the division. Now they're happy about the division. You understand? I understand why some of our people in the diaspora are excited about let's break up Nigeria. But you can't break up Nigeria through Western Union or GoFundMe. You have to be more, you have to be way organized. We are on the ground here. I spent 20 years in the US. I know how this feeling, I know how it hits you when you wake up in the morning and you hear that Nigeria is not okay. And you just want to go there and just you just wish that you find someone you can send money to, or you wish that you can go on a vacation home 3 weeks that Nigeria has been divided or it has changed, but you come back and you just discover that the problem just got bigger. So what I'm saying is, instead of this localized, divided efforts, some of them engineered by our oppressors, well, how about we all come together? These people can be defeated, but you can't defeat them in a divided format. On this your show, when I told people that Buhari was not dead, they would be cursing me in the comment section. Buhari has died. Why are you saying that Sowore is supporting them? I said Buhari has not died. Buhari is alive. What the Nigeria you are saying today is Nigeria of Buhari's dream. He's the one engineering everything. Even in his dementia, the people who are working with him understand what he wants. That he wants, a Nigeria that is dominated by his religion. Not even his religion, but by his sect. Because they don't believe in the Shiites. That's why when they wanted to start, they did harm against their own people in the north. So that when they come down south, you will not blame them by saying, but they killed Shiites before. Now, those ones are Hausa speakers now, Fulani speakers. So if they can do it to their own people, why can't they do it to some other people? There's a Yoruba adage that says, my own the way to explain it is that if a little child
we've missed your video there, but we can hear you can clearly hear you.
Electricity issue here. Let me call and see if we can get the gen on. But I'll keep talking to you.
Please, go on.
I'll keep talking to you. So what they're saying when they did with the Shiites is to prepare your mind for what they will do to you as non-Shiites. You understand? Yes. So then when they were done with the Shiites and nobody complained, They came after farmers. And when nobody complained, they came after journalists, people like me. And people were just, when I was detained, people were justifying it. Why are you calling for revolution? You know, don't you notice the democratically elected government? Then when they were done with people like us, they started going deeper south. And now, as I said during the campaign, you get to a point where you can't practice your religion, you can't even step out of your house under the Buhari regime. But the regime can be dealt with holistically by all of us coming together. Similar to what we did during NSAS. You know, the only problem with NSAS is that it didn't last for long enough. Because they were able to strike the heart of people who they thought were the organizers of NSAS, and people got scared very quickly. I was involved in NSAS, but I was warning them during NSAS that this needs to be escalated beyond NSAS. It's not, NSAS should not be about police, it should be about changing the system.
You were attacked for it.
I was attacked. They were attacking me for wearing Revolution Now t-shirts.
I remember.
After all that attack happened, they said, oh, they started telling people, go and buy flag, sing national anthem when they're shooting at you. And they went exactly after people who were carrying flags and singing national anthem and shot at them. They would have killed, they would have finished all of them, and there not be some kind of reasonable intervention at some point. So what I'm trying to tell you is that you can say whatever you want. It's a free world. But what you cannot discountenance is that even the breakup of Nigeria, which most people are advocating for, can only happen by way of revolution.
Now, let me come in, Mr. President.
You can't break up Nigeria, like I said, you can't break up Nigeria through PayPal, Western Union, or GoFundMe. It's not going to happen. There has to be some boots on the ground here. There has to be an uprising on the ground that will make the people, because Nigeria is, for these people in charge of Nigeria, and forget about it, it's not an ethnic thing. You know, whether they are from the south, east, southwest, the north, Nigeria is a common business. It's, you know, a very, very functional business for the ruling elites. And they are not going to let you can't break it up just by wishing it away. You can't break Nigeria up through prayers or through donations. You have to be on the ground. You have to confront the people who are holding Nigeria to ransom. What I keep telling to people is that if you then chase these people away, you discover that you don't need to break up Nigeria, because life will be so interesting around here without people who are holding us to ransom, who are holding us by the jugular. That someone who is in Lagos will be able to go to Kano, go to Kaduna, live there, because the people who have made these things impossible are benefiting directly from. They know what they are doing. You know, look at Tinubu. Tinubu is making donations to ABU library. LASU doesn't have a library. You know, Tinubu is going to donate money to a market that got burnt in Katsina from money he stole from Lagos. But people who were killed and injured during NSAS, he didn't make a donation to them. They know what they are doing. It's a manipulative process. And for some of our people, I won't say all of us, some of our people fall easily for this, because they just like get carried away by whatever is the buzzword. If it's restructuring, they just restructuring. If you ask them what is the meaning of restructuring, nobody can tell you. Nobody genuinely knows. Well, I'll say who understands what restructuring can do. Nigeria has passed the stage of restructuring. Nigeria has passed the stage of referendum. Who is going to conduct the referendum for you? INEC or the National Assembly, rubber stamp National Assembly? People who cannot conduct House of Assembly elections in Ekiti. Fayemi conducted House of Assembly election in Ekiti last week. 5 people died. Fayemi is a PhD holder, governor of Ekiti State. Under his watch, 5 people died. One of them a police person. Not National Assembly, House of Assembly. So are you expecting the same political class to organize a referendum for you? And the referendum will point to your own desires and outcomes will give you power. You're wasting your time. And that's
Let me come in. Let me come in, because I know there's a lot you're going to share with us, all right, from where that came from, right? This is going to be about you, and it's about what you have done before. there was this time when we were all over the take it back, and even though, well, to back what you said, maybe donation won't really defeat these people, except we have foot on ground.
Yeah.
So you were everywhere. You were able to bring together. People were volunteering, pulling resources together to get themselves to listen to you, to your message, all over the world. And that was such a big frenzy that we were trying to figure out what was the disconnect between you and those that sees you every now and then, those who actually really needs you in Nigeria, and us who are outside. And you said something about your time in America, 20 years. You've been like us too, waking up,
Yeah.
looking at everything going on and all of that. So I keep asking myself, what could be the disconnect? I mean, the disconnect between what you did to bring that worldwide acceptance, readiness for your time, that you could make an inroad into the political art of that country, but you couldn't make that connection with them back home, even up to now. Have you
No,
ever thought about that? What could be that disconnect?
no.
Yourself.
I think you're getting, probably you don't understand my own evolution as well, but I will explain it to you briefly.
Mhm.
When we came in 2018 to say we want to take it back, it brought faith from everywhere, especially people abroad who say, this is one of us who understand how the world works, is going back home, is leaving behind everything.
Mhm.
Yeah. Don't forget that people didn't even know I was married until I was arrested. I left behind everything, my kids, my wife. I didn't mention their names. I didn't bring them into the picture. It was like I was going on a suicide mission.
Hmm.
And the elections were to happen on a particular day, I think February 16, which was my birthday. They postponed the election. Some of the people who had flown from the US, UK, everywhere in the world, and thought that they would vote and go back, had to go back without voting. That's number one. And couldn't convince people to vote. They postponed it. It's as if they knew what they were doing. I think they postponed the election by 2 weeks or so. And by the time the elections held, the same people who had friends, including myself, saw that these people had no intention of holding elections, and they don't hold elections anymore.
Hmm.
So I personally evolved, just like many other persons, to the next level for me, not the APC type of level, which is to let people know that you cannot get these people to respect democratic decisions because they no longer practice democracy. And the Nigerian state was practicing what I popularly call morontocracy, government of morons, by morons, and for morons, right?
Mm.
And as a result, we needed to change the way we were doing business. I traveled to the US, came back. The political party on which platform we ran was hijacked by the Nigerian state. So when I came back, we started revolution now. I was arrested and kept in detention for 5 months. None of our colleagues in the UK, US, or the diaspora in general believed that in 2019, a Nigerian citizen would be arrested and detained under a democratic government for 5 months. So look at the massive loss of faith in the system. If it happened to me, and I'm still trapped in Nigeria as we speak, what do you expect others to feel? So a lot of them started feeling, look, we try to bring hope to our homeland. We try to bring change to our homeland. We wanted democracy to our homeland. We brought personal sacrifice to our homeland. But look at the letdown. And they started looking for salvation elsewhere. You understand? But you remember in 2018 when we were running, the people who would be opposed to me on these platforms were our Biafran brothers. I've mentioned it before. They said, Biafra will be realized by 2020. Some of them say 2019. Why waste our time voting for you in an election? We are in 2021. We haven't been able to achieve that. And I'm not blaming them for it. I'm just saying that the Nigerian state and these operators and the political class are not going to give up on Nigeria. This is the most profitable entity in the world. where you don't have to do anything and you can make it overnight, regardless of your race, because you could be white. In fact, if you are white, you make it faster here. Regardless of your ethnic background, you can be Ibibio. If you know the right person in Abuja, you can buy 5 Mercedes Benz overnight and own an estate. Regardless of your religious background, you can be a Christian and make it in Nigeria. And you can, if you're a Muslim and the person who is in charge of the government is Muslim, it's even better for you. So that is Nigeria for you. The people who run Nigeria as their private estate will not give up on Nigeria just like that. So I've explained to you the position of the diaspora, because most of the people in diaspora who are now asking for breakup, well, some of them were our supporters.
Absolutely.
For them, some of them were even saying it during the election, that if our support for you doesn't yield results, we are going to go in a different direction. So do you blame them? No. As for those on the ground, where I have been for the last almost 2 years, don't deceive yourself to say that they are not following what is going on. These are the same people that carried out NSAS, young people.
That's right.
And the NSAS movement, with whatever limitations they might have had, that's a conversation for another day, shook the establishment in this country like it has never happened before in history. I think NSAS has the biggest volume of mass protests or mass uprising in Nigeria. During my lifetime, I've done protests for 30 years. I've been in several protests in the last 30 years consistently, both at home and abroad. So you cannot write them off. You can't say that we should completely give up on people at home, because there's a lot of social and political consciousness that is also crawling in. It may not be happening as fast as you expect, but it amounts to something, in my view, that all these efforts that we've made, through Revolution Now, August 2019, Revolution Now, August 2020, Revolution Now, October 1. You remember when Revolution Now had a remembrance or a repeat in 2020, Femi Adesina went on Channels TV and said it was a child's play.
I remember.
Yes. And then that's
21 days later, 21 days later, they were busy killing people.
Yes.
It wasn't child's play anymore.
It wasn't child's play anymore. So that's the way to look at so many of these things. So, but the point to make to you, as a way of resting this, the answer to your question, is to say that, look, a lot of people are disillusioned. But I also have a duty as someone who's lived abroad and at home now for quite some time, that don't let us, overhype our traditional ways of doing things.
Well, because
I saw that migration towards, we're going to have Ududua Republic, we're going to have, and it felt like it was going to happen overnight. But I kept warning and advising those I know that this is not going to happen. It's, look, the Nigerian state is not a Fulani state as people want us to believe. It's a rapacious state that has
a conglomeration.
Yes, criminal elements. Some of them Ijo, Yoruba, Fulani. But when it comes to the Fulani time, probably the Fulanis are more versed in the business of manipulation politically, or they have a mass that have become a victim of their kind of politics. But I'm not in any way here, and I want you to be very clear, I'm not making an ethnic statement. I don't believe in ethnicizing political problems, because as I've said so many times on your show, I have been in the inside world, as Fela would like to say it, where there are a lot of crazy people, and I've seen Yorubas treat me worse than Hausa people. I've seen Igbos beat me up. I've seen Hausas broke my nose. I've seen a Yoruba judge throw me in prison. The last time I went to a magistrate court, I was sent to prison by a Yoruba judge. That's January 1st. and she kept playing games on us. So the woman who sent Solomon Akuma to prison recently is a Yoruba judge. You know, I'm not questioning her judgments. That's her right. But I'm just saying that if you look at the society, there's enough bad people from different parts of the country. And my solution, I've not had any cause to feel like a revolution will not work. I don't have any cause to feel that way. If I do, I would have changed my position. I'm humble enough to change my position. If I feel
let's define. You know, one of the reasons why people don't tend to agree that there is other way than break up, like you pointed out, that people have the promoters of breaking up of Nigeria have not been forthcoming with a master plan or a move that is clear, divine, and all that. That seems to be different now. It's changing, right? How they're going to push that to the end, we are going to wait and see. But the disconnect I wanted to bring out here was that you've done it before, where people didn't look at you from where you come from, who you are, your age, or anything. They were more interested in what you can do and what you are qualified to do. So you spoke to people and they listened. Now that we have know that, we now know that we are probably done for in this whole business. Do you really still see yourself as somebody that can repeat, repeat the take it back moment for something like this revolution? Because I believe too, something will have to shift. They're not going to give up easily. We're not just going to wake up and sleep and wake up and find Oduduwa Republic. Even those who are also saying that it could lead to war and all of that, they are just part of the fear of what is it going to be? Is it revolution? Is it war before breakup? And what can you say about what you can do, like repeating that take it back moment in Nigeria, in a way?
No, my position has been consistent, and you can go and watch everything I told you on your show and every other show that I've been on. I have had a consistent position saying that our enemies are diverse, but our liberation has to be united. And I also have mentioned to you severally that I have a bias, which I don't lie about and I don't hide. I have a Pan-African bias to the point that I'm thinking that one day the entire African continent could be one federation so that we can harness the resources, the greatness of its people and its culture and tradition to the benefit of Africans. Right now, Africa is to the benefit of everybody else but Africans. Chinese make billions out of Africa. Americans do. Europeans do. Every part of the world that's fairly advanced comes to make something a big deal out of Africa. But Africans are always at advantage. So I have no doubt that this position that I'm pushing will become central when all of what I would say the sideshows are over and the distractions are over. Because I have been around within the system for long enough to understand when the distractions come. And I know that the state is also interested in the distraction. They are even very happy sometimes to let some things fester when they see that, they are under attack. This is what I described when I spoke last week at an event where Falana was present. That's what I call revolutionary confusion. That we are probably going through a period of revolutionary confusion too, because people are simplistically thinking that if you wake up one day, you just break up Nigeria, everything will be all right. But they forget that there was a simple thing that happened in the Southwest recently when they started having issues with the Hausa Fulanis in Ibadan. Common pepper, Yoruba people who love pepper, they didn't have. The 3 days or 4 days strike of non-availability of
food blockade.
Our people started shitting in their pants. So we love pepper. we forget to plant pepper and we are calling for breakup. We don't even have food to eat that can last us for. I'm talking about habanero pepper, the one that we love. Nobody had, and we were calling for breakup. And then in the middle of that confusion, what I call revolutionary confusion, they realized that we don't have pepper. Please help us beg the Northerners to be bringing pepper and onions to us.
But we didn't beg, did they? Sure.
Well, I'll tell you that people had to intervene politically.
Do you believe that? Well, you know better anyway. Yeah, go on.
They were intervening on the ground to say, look, don't let us do it this way. They had to have some conversations so that the blockade will be over. So think about that. You have no food, you want to break away. That means you already, before you start the war, you are submitting yourself to your enemies. When they started Amotekun, you interviewed me here. Go and look for the interview. I told you, if after 6 months you still hear of Amotekun, in the format that they celebrated it, I said, come and ask me again. Where's Amotekun?
It's absolute joke. It's absolute joke.
It was a joke because it was a political decision taken by politicians to attract the presidency to the south. Yeah, let's go and create Amotekun. Even the vehicles of Amotekun, I don't see them on the roads anymore. Probably they just went and hired some vehicles, painted them, and then the fanfare was, and then somebody wore all kinds of clothes to the House of Assembly. Today, Amotekun cannot protect black people.
Amotekun actually fought the Fulani terrorists in in Ibarapa. That was on the 7th of January. Remember that? And that was the last time they fought. Anyway,
so
it was the first time in a year since after their launch. Yeah, after their launch, the first time we saw them was on the 7th of January. And they came out to tell us that they killed 7. If you remember the story, they killed 7. They arrested 48. Then they changed the story.
This, the political story. Go to Ondo State. The Fulani leaders killed the leader of Amotekun in Ondo State. They can't even announce it openly. You understand? And then the Ondo State governor was shouting. He was the one shouting Amotekun. And then he discovered that he had a case coming up in the Court of Appeal. My turn is election. And then next he said, we are not part of those who want to succeed. And then when he changed his position, they gave him, they ruled in his favor. These people are very vast in manipulating us. They know how to throw us red meats. They know how to distract us.
It's a confusing revolution, you called it.
I don't say it's confusing. It's revolutionary. It's a period of revolutionary confusion.
Okay, revolutionary confusion. Go on.
Yes. Yeah. So you have to be careful. You have to be deep. You have to be understanding to not fall into some of these tricks. Maybe experience is what is helpful to some of us. I don't know. But as a rule, I don't condemn people who are engaged in activism of any kind.
That's good.
Because I've always said it that we don't know when this shit will hit the fan. So I don't know who will push the shit closer to the fan. It may be Sowore, it may be someone else. My own is for us to get to a point where this thing tip over and we can have a breathing space. But if I see people who also come out and start preaching things that I think might lead to confusion, I would give my own advice in general about it. I'll reach out to them and say, look, this is what I think. It's just like, you remember, even you yourself used to be hated by the Biafran activists.
Well,
I used to be hated by them. And my position was clear. I said, look, we are all suffering. Why are you abusing Yoruba people? Focus on the oppressors. And luckily enough, we've reached a position where we have agreed that we have common enemies. And now we flow well. You understand? So we can advise ourselves. If I see people that are fake, I would definitely give an advice to look, I don't feel these guys are real. So
right. I know.
And at the spur of the moment, it may not be popular with those who just go with the flow. But over time, those things will bear you witness.
Good. You see, there is this personality of yours that I respect a lot, and I'm not alone. We are so much. You got many people interested in politics of Nigeria that they were never interested in, especially towards the 20. I mean, starting with the Sahara reporters, down to when you ran for office. So many people started following like religiously. You even made many bought ticket to go back home that they wanted to go and vote. Some traveled back to Nigeria to register just to vote for you. So you have that cult personality. But I think it's been underutilized, don't you think? You were able to maybe because of this Nigeria that happened to you, because the prayer is that Nigeria never happened to us. They locked you up, city arrest in Abuja. You could be so useful, a rallying figure in the diaspora, where people can actually influence what this revolution can be, spark it, educate the people, because we are now channeling our energy more into something that we believe will save the people more, which is break it up. But we know it's not going to break overnight, right? So is there a chance that you can still pretty much make yourself available for that kind of role of unifying everyone? It doesn't matter what they believe in. It doesn't matter what they are fighting for, where you can actually be so kind of, what do you call it, open about it, and let's see how many of us will embrace that. A unifying figure is what is missing. Everybody is choosing their own champion here and there now, and as it's going, it's either we are headed for a civil war or something worse. So, do we have a chance of having you in that in that position again, where you can use that personality to rally people around all these figures? Sure.
I think there's a phase. We're passing through a phase now. And that phase is like a cloud. And until it rains, that cloud will not disappear. And that phase, I'm personally even enjoying it, And it's a phase where people will be able to figure out in which direction we should go. And I have stated it when I was having conversation about revolution in 2019. It was not popular. I've said it many times here on your platform and several platforms. In fact, on the day of the protest on August 5, 2019, 5 million people searched Google in search of the word revolution. They wanted to know the meaning of a revolution. And a lot of critics out there said I was trying to overthrow the government. A lot of critics said, I was being ambitious. Some people said it was because I lost election. But now we are reaching a consensus, right, on the fact that elections can't save us anymore. Not this type of elections that are pre-arranged or what you and I know called selections. And it's the same thing that's happening this phase now, in the phase of social consciousness of a different kind. And you mentioned something in passing, which I don't want you to get away with, that maybe Nigeria happened to me. Nothing happened to me. This has always been my nature. Is that?
But you got locked up there that you can't go anywhere. You would have been so useful to us out there.
It was a choice I made to stay here. There's nothing in Nigeria that can hold me back if I decide to leave. I'm saying it openly, and it's not the first time I'll say it. Nigeria doesn't have borders that can hold me back. Nobody's holding me. In fact, if I want to leave, I will be accompanied by security agents. They'll be happy to let me leave, because right now it's kind of a burden they don't like around. They just don't know what to do with me. But it's my choice, because I was the one who took the decision to travel abroad in 1999. I wasn't chased as such. I went on self-exile because I knew also in 1999 that Nigeria was facing a period of political confusion. And what was the confusion in 1999? Nigerians decided that an Obasanjo who had betrayed them, Yorubas, for over these years, was their best candidate to be president. I packed my things and left. I said, I don't know how to handle the confusion. Obasanjo came in. People were calling me from Nigeria and the US and taunting me. Suddenly Onepa is working. Obasanjo has got that. Look at, you are too cynical, too pessimistic. After 8 years, Obasanjo drove them around and returned them to where they were, worse than he met them. That was a period of political confusion. I saw it first in 1999. And several other things have happened to make me understand that sometimes the position we take, even when it's unpopular, we outlast some popular positions that is not taken with any form of reasoning. You understand? And that can take us to where we need to be. All of us that are in the diaspora, where you wish I am today, where are we? We are occupying spaces in countries where people have made sacrifices. Yes, people have made sacrifices. They decided in places where you are to have a revolution. They decided to have political conflict where it's necessary. They have rebellions. They had uprisings. And we sit down in those places and we're enjoying it. And then we just, out of sometimes personal feelings or incomplete information, just decide that we are superior to the rest of our own countrymen and women. And this is very important for the diaspora. The diaspora, which I'm part of, I can never leave the diaspora, needs to humble itself. We need to humble ourselves about, how we look at things that are happening at home. Not to think that because we are not at home, we know it all and that we're the only people who can solve the problems. Because I hear that from people. They'll say, Sowore, if I give you this information I have, it will solve the problem. And I'll listen and it won't, because it's not the solution. So sometimes maybe we need to mix. Sometimes I wish that all of us can be locked up for 5 months here too, like myself. And we can understand Nigeria better. And maybe you're not locked up in itself, but just come back and lock yourself in to the system. I understand how bad the system is. I know that it's not a system that you can just bring an outside solution to help immediately. I'm not saying that outside solutions, the brilliance of our people, their intellectual capacities cannot solve Nigeria's problem. It will. But is it not from the diaspora also that people are supporting Tinubu's presidential ambition? Is it not from the diaspora also that you find some people who will insult you because you're opposed to Buhari? Is it not from diaspora people who say go and jail Sowore, even though there's no provision to jail people where they live? So the diaspora is not also, a united front. It's a diverse place, of brilliant people, people who otherwise think that things should be done in ways that are not proper. But let's just work together.
Our worry, mostly our worries is that when we watch the videos and we see them brutalizing you, assaulting people on the streets, not because many of us didn't see that before we left Nigeria. We were born into those things too, right? But it will get to some point where you just feel like, when is it going to end? Then they call us reactionary, and all of that, okay? But we are worried that, like you said, when we go back home too, we can become victims, like everyone who is there every day, the victim of the rotten system. Then we see people like you who are standing up every day fighting it, and we see what they are doing to you. And we are also worried that if people like you are unable to make that change with everything that you are sacrificing or you've sacrificed, the lockup and all of that, if you're unable to make that change, one day people will no longer listen to that same government anymore. They will push back. And when they push back, that will be something probably completely out of hand, a civil war. Then where is the place of the diasporans then? Can we come back home? We would not be worried about our people. We only care about anything that will save their people. And that's why we're asking people like you, who have seen it, to tell us, what do we need to do? Where do we need to come in to avert anything that will probably lead to the real bloodshed?
I think the diaspora need to listen more to people at home.
Okay.
And we also need to understand the peculiarity of the situation of people who are at home. People at home are trapped, and the diaspora must see itself as liberators. I know how the diaspora is. If you, with your voice, you push Nigeria to war today, you are still the ones who will clean up the mess. because you are the ones who have to move your families out to safety, even if it's in a neighboring country. You are the one who will be donating money for refugees and people who are internally displaced in the country. So you have the capability to think through this. And what I'm saying is that instead of pushing Nigeria to war, push Nigeria to a revolution, because the revolution will be faster. When wars start, they don't last less than 20 years. Those of us who are 50 years old today, if we start war in Nigeria, we'll be 70 years old by the time the war will be ending. That's if we are alive. That's if we survive the war. But think about the 200 million people who will be trapped in war. And I'm not using war as a way of scaring people, right? I'm not afraid of war. I'm just saying that we don't need a war to fight to displace these people. We need a revolution. And the revolution will be quick, succinct, because if we can just put 10 million people on the streets, right, in a week, all these jokers will run away. Some of them by bicycle. They will be during NSAS. Governors were already thinking of leaving.
Many
the
of them are, many of them are already moving their families.
Because the policemen that were guarding them couldn't come to work, either by way of either deliberately or logistically, they couldn't make it to work. I spoke to one of the governors extensively. They said they were already thinking that they were calling themselves as if this thing lasts one more week. Me, I know they for this system, and they go because I don't see I can't see my policemen in one governor told me that instead of about 150 policemen, he had only 5 left. They will call them, they say they can't come to work, that they are trapped. There's no transportation, to go to work. And they also believe that some of the policemen were supporting NSAS people because it became a crime at that time to also wear police uniform.
I remember.
Yes. So if you do a revolution, will come up. They had it in Mali, 2 weeks.
That's right.
The president of Mali was sent away. 2 weeks after he was sent away, he died of hypertension. Why would you allow useless people to hold you to ransom? Why go to war for no reason when you can solve this in a smaller way? Buhari will love for Nigeria to go to war. You understand? Because they will use that opportunity to settle scores in parts of the country. Yes. They will send soldiers, different types of soldiers to different parts of the country to start killing people. And it's the diaspora that will clean it up. I have no doubt. You are the ones who have to donate and send money to help the situation. Why would you expose yourself to things that are unnecessary? There's no need for war. No need. It's a waste of time.
But what about the ongoing war? I mean, this alien war that is sending people to refugee camps outside the country, in and outside the country. That one alone will revolution clear that?
It will. Because we know the people who are causing the problem. And the moment they are dislocated, it's like breaking their stranglehold on your neck. You'll be able to breathe. We know them. We know the ones that are, all these governors. You think they are not part of the problem. They are happy now that you have lifted the burden off of them. It's what I tell people when they say, oh, restructure Nigeria, devolution of power. State governors don't allow power to devolve to local governments. There's no state in Nigeria today that allows local government elections to hold because of the money that they collect on behalf of local governments. When they say restructuring, I ask people, what do you want to restructure? Do you want people of Ekiti to come back to Ibadan as the headquarters of Europe? Do you want to reduce 5 states to 2 in the southwest? And then you go to the north when you restructure. The north will still have more states than you. So the problem you are running away from, you will still run into it. But what the revolution does is it resets and reprograms the system completely, such that people who are in power loses power. Those who are not in power, there's democratization of power. Now, the most important power of a revolution is that it does not allow what used to be repeat itself. If it does, people will step up again and say, look, this is nonsense we did the revolution for. You can't come back and do it again. So it disempowers the very cannibalistic, powerful people in your society. And it gives power to people who are regulated by the people. There's a regulatory system on your table. Anytime you are misbehaving, an alarm will sound, which will remind you that people can revolt again.
Now, we're going to take just a few seconds break, okay? So that we can take a drink. Just a minute.
An hour. And it's an hour already.
Yeah, that's why I want to take a break so that I can use the next 10, 15 minutes before you leave, okay? To get us wrapped up. I want to take one or two calls so that I can ask you direct questions too. But while we wait for that, give me a sec. We're going to go out. So we're going to go for a drink break. I will be back, my friends. Thank you very much. So that's a clip of our people in Benin Republic. They ran away from Yowa North in Ogun State. So, and up to now, they've been abandoned, by the way. Nobody, not Nigerian government, has been there to help.
Abandoned is even the worst thing. Is that the government of Ogun State, your state government, denies that this exists. They are denying
it's a shame. Yeah, it's a shame. Sorry, I have a caller. I have somebody on the phone, okay? Now you are live, okay? Your name and where you're calling from, please.
Yes, hey there. This is Ayo, calling from Jacksonville, Florida.
Lovely. So, Ayo from Jacksonville, Florida. Is that right?
That's correct, yes.
Great. So, Show is listening.
Okay, great. Thank you for taking my call. So, sure, I am definitely a follower of yours, and I admire your energy and everything you've tried to do. Now, Nigerian situation has been the same way for the last 60 years. And it doesn't really seem like anything is working. Definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting things to change. Don't you think it's time for us, even if it seems futile, don't you think it's time to take a different direction? I have never been a proponent of splitting until now, but that just seems to me to be the logical next step. Now, given your energy, the passion you can create, even if you're not 100% on board, don't you think maybe just direct some of that energy into us realizing our own nation, with the Biafrans realizing their own? I'm sure we'll be great neighbors, but what we're doing is not working. This one Nigerian situation is beyond reproach. It was put together as a profit center for the British. We don't have natural alliance. Our world views are very different. Yes, I at the time I would romanticize the one Nigeria situation, but it's not practical. And Western powers would prefer to keep things the way it is, because that way, with the internal conflict that is bound to continue, we can undercharge for our commodities, which keeps their standard of living high. I think sometimes we just need to take a step back and look at the big picture and understand that there is a natural order. And the natural order of Nigeria is for at least to divide into two, if not more.
Thanks, Ayo. So, Show, I believe he heard that. Please, he's going to respond. You can continue watching now, okay? Thank you. So, that's AY from Florida. I have one more call there. I'll take that, and then you can just answer them together before before we go today. One moment. Oh, I think I just lost. Oh, it's back. Good. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Yeah, this is Maiyegun, and I have Omoyele Sowore on the show. Your name and where you are calling from, please.
My name is Patricia. I'm calling from UK, from Leicester.
Lovely. Can you turn down the volume of the show itself in the background? Can you turn that down, please?
Yes.
Please, thank you. Because it's like I can hear myself again. Now, you can go ahead, Patricia. Sowore is listening. All of us are listening.
My question for Mr. Sowore is this. First, is he a Yoruba man? Then secondly, Sowore is supporting one Nigeria when he knew that this country is gone. There's no more Nigeria. We are not one people. Look at Scotland, look at Ireland, the breakup from England, isn't it? But they still communicate, they still transact among themselves. You still have businesses, Dublin business in England, England business in Dublin. We are not one people. Every nation speaks one language. So this is my question for Mr. Sowore. Why are you agitating for one Nigeria? Why not the Oduduwa nation, please?
Thanks, Patricia. So, yeah, that's a part there from London. Do you want to take the two? AY from Florida and Pat from London. They are talking about, well, you heard the last one. AY is asking, can't we just take a step back? So over to you.
I think I've answered AY's question. It's the direction he thinks we should head towards is to create our own nation state, known as Oduduwa, right?
Yep.
But here we are proposing for the people in the southwestern part of Nigeria a nation state, the same way the British decided on a nation state of Nigeria without consulting Nigerians. We have not consulted with our people widely enough to even know if they will accept the name Oduduwa as the name of our nation state. So are we going to continue to make the mistake the British make, which was to create a country without consultation with the component parts? And that's why I said the diaspora needs to humble itself and come home, right? Yes, we understand the word better. There's no question about it. But this idea of talking over people, and forgetting that they might have opinion too, that the fact that they're not wealthy or rich doesn't mean that they don't have dignity. It's important we take that into consideration in our conversation. Okay. And I say that because of the question about she asking me if I'm Yoruba. You understand? I don't think it matters who I am. I need to be a human being and decide to stay where I want to be. If there's an Oduduwa state today and I'm not Yoruba and I want to stay with you, I have a right to be accepted because I've lived for a number of years in that part of the world. If already you are discriminating against me and asking me whether I'm black or white so that you can decide how to relate with the reasonability of my position, I think we're getting it wrong from the beginning. Are we going to set up a Yoruba nation of xenophobic persons who cannot tolerate people who are partially Yorubas or who speak Yoruba or who are non-Yorubas? We should not start that way, because otherwise we would have gone back to what Black South Africans are doing to immigrants like Nigerians and Zimbabweans. And I see that in a lot of conversations we are even having about the Oduduwa state and moving away from Nigeria and the breakup of Nigeria. Now, let me just hold it there.
I know I have a caller. I just want to tell you that I have a caller that is on. So, but you can continue. Yeah, please.
Yes. Because there's a lot of intolerance that I'm already seeing in even the way we are carrying about the conversation. Anybody that disagrees with us must be killed, must be, exiled. You're not part of us. So,
Justin, just hang on for a minute. Sorry, please go on.
The last one I want to say about, that I know that the Nigerian state doesn't work, and you are preaching to the choir. That's what I do every day. The Nigerian state doesn't work. But it is not the Nigerian space that doesn't work. It's the leadership of Nigeria, south, west, north, and east, that is culpable. And that's where I disagree with some people, that just the breakup of Nigeria would automatically bring the solutions that we desire. It's not going to happen. I'm here. I understand how our people are. I understand the wickedness in the hearts of traditional rulers. Maybe it is now that you people are praising Igboho for abusing traditional rulers. When I told you guys I cannot prostrate for Ooni of Ife, didn't you ask them to behead me in 2018? Yes.
I remember. Let me take this call. Let me take this.
Not what Omoyele said. Yeah.
You are so right, because you know one thing is that you are a personality that people just love to hate for their own reasons. Do you get that now? Because at the end of the day, you cannot really be faulted. Honestly speaking, when people really dig into you, you cannot really be fully faulted. But I'm going to take this call. Jocelyn.
Hi, Maiyegun. Good afternoon.
How are you today?
I'm great, thank you.
Good. You're
Hi,
live.
Yele. Good afternoon.
He can hear you, but he can't really speak up except if he says it on the screen. But go ahead, please.
Not a problem. Okay. Good thing he's speaking up for the masses back home in Nigeria. But there is one thing that has been bothering me, okay? Because I see Yele is still tilting towards the one Nigeria thing. You understand? Because during the last protest, you saw what happened. Okay, you saw what happened, that the North will never support anything protest in Nigeria. Okay, you're calling for a revolution, which is a great idea. But do you think the North will actually support the idea of a revolution against their own people? In the end, the revolution will still turn to ethnic or tribal war, because the North will actually come to they will rise up against the Southerners. This is how I see the revolution that is going to happen. They will never support the idea of revolution in Nigeria. The Southerners will, but the North will not support it. That is why we have the division. So you clamoring or calling for United Nigeria, I don't think that will happen. It will not happen. And then if to stand it on straight, and then with badly out, trust me, we still go back to what it used to be, because the corruption in the system has eaten so deep to even get rid of. So me, for one, I will actually say revolution is fine, but you will not get the full support from everyone. You will not. So see where the division is coming in from. Nobody will want to protest against their own people. During the NSAS protest, they used them against the people in the North. You saw what happened. They were killing the protesters. They used those criminals, those hoodlums from the North to harass the protesters. So the revolution you're calling for will not go round. You're going to get a counter protest. That is what you're going to get from the North. Thank you for all you've been doing.
Thank you.
I wish you safety back home in Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Jocelyn.
Thank you, Yele. Thank you,
Listen,
Maiyegun.
thank
Yeah,
you.
sure.
I want
Good
to
one.
correct
So-
something about NSAS.
I'm going to take just one more, because there's already one on the.
Don't let me lose this. Don't let me lose this,
Okay, please. Let me tell my caller to hold on then. Let me tell my caller to hold on, please. 1 sec, yeah. Sorry, please. You have to hang on for me for a second, okay? Sowore wants to respond to that last
1
caller,
minute.
please.
1 minute. Yes.
Go on. Yes.
This is part of what we must understand about this whole Nigerian business. It was not the North that started attacking protesters first. It was Tinubu and Jide Sanwo-Olu that first mobilized, and the Speaker of Lagos State House of Assembly, what's his name, Obasa, that first mobilized people against NSAS protesters in Lagos, not the North. They went to Agege. You remember the guy that was carrying cutlass?
I remember.
Yes. That man is a Yoruba man, mobilized from Agege. They provided them air-conditioned buses. And this is factual information I'm giving you. And they came after the protesters at the Lagos State Secretariat, macheted them, beat them, threw bottles at them. They were the first to start it. It was also in the South that most of the killings against NSAS protesters in particular. First, the palace of Shon of Ogbomoso. This is fact, right? After that, in Ogun State, some young people were arrested in Ogun State because they disrupted the wedding where Obasanjo was a guest. Were the ones who got them out of detention. So I'm giving you facts. And then in Osun State, where the governor, after addressing NSAS protesters, asked his police protection unit to open fire on them and killed we were the ones who also carry out the burial. And then the most brutal was Lekki Toll Gate. Who invited the army? Yoruba man. Jide Sanwo-Olu invited the Nigerian army to come and kill peaceful Yoruba, mostly Yoruba protesters, I would assume. It is true that some attacks were carried out in Abuja. But another clarification I want to make is that NSAS was not only in the South. The liberation of palliatives, the biggest that happened was in Jos, Plateau State. Is that South? The attack on the palliative center in Adamawa State, in which after they took the palliative, they came and removed the roof of the warehouse. It happened in Adamawa State. Yes, it is true that these people make it sound like, oh, Northerners are supporting Buhari, but Northerners are some of the biggest victims of the Buhari's misrule. It is the place where they can kidnap 300 students overnight. Don't let us deceive ourselves. Katsina is the home of kidnapping in Nigeria today. Kaduna is the home of kidnapping. Zamfara is the home of kidnapping. So all of them is that these people have used poverty to suppress even their own people to the point that they have become helpless. So take the question. I just want to clarify that.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for that. So hello there, my caller. Sorry for keeping you waiting. Okay. Your name and where you are calling from.
My name is Olori Tijani, and I'm calling from UK.
Fantastic.
London.
So we have Olori on the line. So Sowore is listening, but it will listen to everything you say. It won't be responding back right away. Then it will continue after you finish. So please go on.
Oh, thank you, my brother. And good afternoon, Mr. Sowore. Nice to have you on the program today. To start with,
thank you.
We know that Nigeria foundation was built on force, and it wasn't a solid foundation. We all know that. And any foundation built on a mere force and on a sand will eventually collapse. Nigeria now is at the edge of breaking. We cannot hide away from it. To start with, we are not a nation. We are just bring it together and call it. The North doesn't understand my language. I don't understand the Igbo's language. Not that we are not friends, but we do not speak in unity in terms of culture, in terms of language, in terms of religion. That is one. Secondly, regardless of how much you try to patch it, it will eventually break. Now we are talking break it now, so that we save life. Already, the country is at war. Whether we want to accept or deny, the country is at war. You tell me the aftermath of war. Rape, refugee, killings, kidnapping, name it. Already we are experiencing that. And people now at this junction are tired and fed up. There they want to go. Let's assume, and this is just an assumption, that people follow the revolution you are calling for. But what after your period? People are still going to go back to stage one. Why are we trying to patch what cannot even hold? It is now. Let us all come together in unity, one voice, and end this so-called location 419. It is not working for anybody. The only few people this country is working for are the few elites. They are the one benefiting from the country. And to be honest with you, they also are afraid. They live in perpetual fear of what the ordinary people are likely to do. I think it is about time we all come together as one
and demand, because it's no point. We're trying to pass it now. We're calling for restructuring. It's just like we are passing it. Let us just break it. Because we break it doesn't mean we're not going to have a good relationship. You cannot force a relationship, a marriage that is not working is not working. For goodness sake, let us go our separate way.
Thank you.
We will appreciate if you come on board and join this trend.
Let me before you go. I just have one question for you. I just have one question for you before you go, please.
He's asking you a question. He said. So if you just a minute, ma, please go on. Show.
How do you break Nigeria? How do you?
Did you hear that? How do we break Nigeria? Show is asking. Hello. Oh, I've lost I've lost that there. Sure. So, Mr. President, yeah, sure. Is that a call for you?
No, I'm good.
Okay, because we're gonna be rounding up anytime soon. I think
too much of my time, right?
I know. I think I'm the only one who actually gets away with that because I'm the only one who actually brings up.
I've enjoyed our ability to exchange ideas, right?
Lovely.
I gave you a simple example. Maybe some of us come to these ideas earlier than others, but that doesn't mean that the ideas of others are not sacrosanct or relevant. That's the reason I asked that our sister, how do you break up Nigeria without a fight? It's not going to happen. There are two alternatives to break up Nigeria. You want to go to war, or, in fact, that's the only alternative to me, because you cannot sit in an assembly today and say, we are broken up and we are hosting flags everywhere. Some people will tell you they have not broken. You have already seen it. Yoruba Council of Elders said you can't speak for them. So how do you break away from Nigeria without war? If you want to go to war, where are the weapons? Where are the soldiers that you want to use? Where are the training camps? How do we, when we're exhausted, when we don't have weapons anymore, how do you supply more? Is there anybody in the UK who has connections with countries that can supply weapons? So how about food? How about shelter? How do you deal with refugee situation, medicine, and all those things that accompanies war? If you are not ready for it, it's not that simple, right? It becomes wishful thinking. If you are not ready for all it, if you are not ready for bloodshed, In fact, some of you, and I'm saying this today, some of you who are advocating for war now, or breakup, if it happens and it leads to some kind of human rights abuses, be ready to be called upon, because the government will use it against you. Be ready to be called upon to say, oh, we want to carry you to The Hague. Get your lawyers ready. Because it could get to a point where they can go to a GoFundMe account and start picking names of people who contributed money for breakup of Nigeria to harass them. So don't rule out any of these things. Are you prepared for all of these things? If you are not prepared for it, then you're not ready. If you are prepared for it, we're game. What I am proposing, which is different from war, outright war.
That's where I want you to come in. Yeah, that's exactly where I want you to round it up for me. Revolution before breakup. Yeah, go on.
Yes. So, and if you have a revolution and the system still doesn't work for you, then you are at liberty to break. Because what the revolution will also do is that after the revolution, we'll go and create a constitution that speaks to all of our diversity, all of our needs, all of our desires. And that constitution, because there's not anybody needs to tell me, I'm the first person to tell you that the constitution is nonsense before everybody started admitting to it. Well, I may not be the first, but I said it very clearly. And that constitution must have a clause for a referendum. It must also have a clause for self-determination. Now, if anybody finds himself, finds this, union unsuitable, they are at liberty to leave. It's the same thing they have with the United Kingdom and those surrounding nations. Some of them are still connected together. But they're asking that, they can invoke the clause. But if you're not ready for war, why engage in wishful thinking? Because the people who are running Nigeria as a central business model, which makes them billionaires overnight, are not going to just look at you break up without a fight. Unfortunately, they control the armed forces. Look at what they are doing to our ASM brothers in the East already.
In Abia, in Olu, and all of that.
Yes, yes. The same soldiers that cannot find Boko Haram suddenly can locate all the ASM camps. Suddenly, the helicopters that cannot bomb Boko Haram can bomb IPOB activist camps. You understand? Look at what Wike is doing to people in Obi-Igbo. Yes, anybody that's between the age of 16 and above male, they were all taken away. About 500 of them were taken to Kanji barracks, tortured here in Abuja before they started releasing them. Some of them have died. Some of them were shot at close range. Is Wike a Fulani man? What's that governor in Imo?
Supreme Court governor.
Yes, that invited soldiers to come and kill and bomb civilians. Nobody's talking about that. I'm just telling you that bad people litters Nigeria. And do a revolution, you cleanse the place first, then you can think of a breakup later. Otherwise, that thing you're supposed to do first, you will find out in your various republics that you will still need a revolution. And then you come and thank me later.
Then your role, show. You have to play this unifying role. Somehow, you may not have thought about it because it seems that you are probably just flowing with the direction of our men and women around the revolution now. We've changed course to Buhari must go. It's always about the awakening, awareness.
What we have done is we're evolving dynamically. Revolution now had always said Buhari cannot run Nigeria. So when you see Buhari must go, we're just saying intensely to let people know that without ending the Buhari disaster, I mean, it's part of the revolution that you have to end the disaster. So it hasn't changed anything at all. You just see different buzzwords come from time to time as a way of the evil of society. Buhari is evil. And that's why I keep telling people, stop saying that Buhari is dead. He's not dead. He loves it when people say he's dead because it allows him to hide in the background and perpetrate evil. The man is alive, though with dementia. But I think, yes, it's in total dementia. This is mannequin. But, even as bad as his dementia might be, a bad person will always be a bad person. You understand? Yeah. So when people say he's dead, I just laugh at that. The man is there. He's the one, he has people, he has a small circle of people who can interpret his finger, his smile, his frown, to kill the number of people that they probably represent.
Thank you so much, Omoyele Sowore. You and I can go on for another 90 minutes. This is our first 90 minutes, but we'll call it part 1. I know you're not easy to track down, but I always do my best, and I think I always get away with a lot with you. I'm the only person who can bring you to a show 30 minutes to the show and ask you, can you attend? And we'll see, never told you before. I'm also the one that can possibly take more of your time. It's because you are an interesting person to talk to. And my friends loves you. Most of my friends are actually people you brought into showing interest.
Most of your friends are my friends, and we all love each other. Like I said, there might be divergence of opinion at these times. I love it. I wanted to say something that I forgot to say at the beginning when you said, am I still... Look, was I not the one who met Kanu on my own? I went to look for him. I asked to talk to him, and we met, and it was amazing. In fact, you see that even in recent times, he uses revolution now in his tweets. I'm not saying, and I understand perfectly where they are coming from. It is the same way I understand our brothers and sisters from the Oduduwa sector who are upset about Nigeria. Nobody's more upset about Nigeria than myself. Nigeria put me in jail for 5 months, But when I tell you this is the direction I feel we should go, it is my own personal opinion, and I defend it, and I ask people who believe in it to listen to me. But that doesn't close my ears to people who have different opinions about how Nigeria should be. We are all, as I said at this talk I had 3 days ago, all of us have mentally seceded from Nigeria because it doesn't work for us. All of us.
It's a shame. Thank you so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure again. So I'm going to look forward to another one. So are my friends too. So thank you. Sure. Have a good one. And goodbye.
Thank you.
Cheers. So that is a show. Omoyele Sowore, 90 minutes. I actually thought it was going to be an hour. So I'm going to go and eat something now, my lunch. Then I'm going to be back later on Maiyegun's Diary Political YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to Maiyegun's Diary Political YouTube, maybe this is the time you should. We love it when we bring people on Maiyegun's Diary. Sowore is a regular. There are other people I would love to bring on. I've been doing it, well, maybe not. I would love to have a Mazin Amdekano Maiyegun's Diary someday where we can rub minds for like 90 minutes as well. It would be great. There are many other people I would like to bring so that my friends can have varieties. You've heard a lot from Sowore today. You may not agree with everything, but guess what? If you have to, be honest, there are many that you actually agree with. We all have this similar problem, I would say, facing the same enemy, and we have different solutions to it. Is it going to be revolution before breakup? Time will tell. So I'm going to see you later tonight for the real gist, as usual. Thank you so much for your time, and everyone, stay safe. So meanwhile, like I said, if you are watching me on Maiyegun's Diary Political on YouTube, before you call it a day, give me that thumb up, or else we go fight. Bye-bye.
Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Maiyegun máa bí. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. Maiyegun máa bí. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Gómìnà kówó jẹ. Maiyegun máa bí. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọlọ́pàá ti ń darí bá. Maiyegun máa bí. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o. Maiyegun máa bí. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú. Maiyegun máa bí. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o. Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀. Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Oníkan ṣáàtì ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o. Maiyegun ti dé, gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Maiyegun ti dé, gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní má ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Kì máa yí ṣe eré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Kì máa yí ṣe eré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o, ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣàyè tú wọn síta.
Maiyegun ti dé, gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Maiyegun ti dé, gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Tẹnitẹni ọmọ Maiyegun ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́hún sọ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù. Lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù. Bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́ bẹ̀. Èèpo ọ̀bọ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́, ó ti dọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ fòyà. Àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o, ó kó ẹni tó bá dán wò á kàmù. Maiyegun ti dé, gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Maiyegun ti dé, gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì o. Ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Maiyegun ti dé, gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì.